These are the homework solutions for day 5. That's sections 2.2, 2.3, 2.4. These are the bolded problems that we work on in class. You'll finish the rest of them at home on your own. In section 2.2, we're interested in reducing a fraction to lowest terms. And to do that, there's several ways to do it, and I'm going to use a new technique that I just learned, and I'm going to share that with you. So first of all, I'm going to remember that this is the denominator. Sorry, that's the numerator, and that this is the denominator. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take those two numbers and I'm going to put them side by side. And I'm going to start to try to take prime numbers out of them. And to do that, it's probably a good idea if I write down the prime numbers as preparation. So prime numbers would be 2, 3, 5, 7, 11, 13, and we'll go up to 17, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. There are many, many more, but that's the ones between 0 and 20. So what I want to do is use these to try to deconstruct or take those apart. First of all, I'm going to try to divide by 2. I could take 2 out of this, but I can't take 2 out of that. Okay, I'll try 3. I can take 3, might be able to get 3 out of this, and I might be able to get 3 out of that. So let's try it. 3, and this is where that short division comes in really handy. 3 goes into 1, nope. 3 goes into 12, yes, 4 times. 3 goes into 6, 2 times. Let's look over here. 3 goes into 1, no. 3 goes into 15 or 16, yes, and that would be 3 times, and with 1 left over, because 3 times, oh sorry, I did that again, 5. 3 times 5 is 15, and 16 minus 15 is 1, so that makes this another 15. 3 goes into 15 5 times. So here, this is 3 times 42 is 126, and 3 times 55 is 165. I'm going to see if I can get anything else out of this. Let's see. I'm going to make another little. I can take 2 out of this, but I can't take 2 out of that. I might be able to get 3 out of this, and I might be able to get 3 out of that. Probably not though, because this is 6 times 7, and that's 5 times 11. 6 times 7, 5 times 11. I've taken as much out of that as I can, so that my final answer, reducing that fraction, equals 42 is the numerator and 55 is the denominator. Another way to look at that problem is that 126 over 165 equals 3 times 42 over 3 times 55. And our textbook talks about dividing this, but what I really want you to see is that that makes 1. 3 over 3 is 1. And multiplying a number by 1 does not change its value in any way. You're just sort of disguising it. So that's another way to think about it. So now we're going to look at section 2.3, number 29, which is multiplying a whole bunch of fractions. And again, when I'm multiplying, I multiply across for the numerator and across for the denominator. But really, 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 I don't want to work that hard right now, so I'm going to do some canceling. And right now I can look at this and say, oh, I can divide that by 2, so that leaves 36. I could divide this by 2, and that would leave me with 54. Let's see, I could divide this by 11, and that would leave me 5. And I could divide this by 11, and that would leave me 10. Oh, not done yet. I can divide this by 7 and leave 1, and this by 7 and leave 5. So all of a sudden it's not quite so bad, and I bet I could do a little bit more if I worked hard at it. Let's see. There's a 5 and there's a 5. And this divides by 9 and leaves 4. And this divides by 9 and leaves 6. So that's really 1 now. So 4 times 1 equals 4. And 1 times 6 times 10 equals 60. And I can do a little bit more, you're right. Divide that by 4 and get 1. Divide that by 4 and get 15. So that means that I've multiplied everything across and done some canceling as prep work, and I end up with 1/15. So that is section 2.3, number 29. Now let's look at section 2.3, number 39. Now, this I want you to remember the important thing of PEMDAS, which is about order of operations. Sometimes we talk about please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. And the reason I've combined multiplication and division and addition and subtraction is that they are inverse operations of each other. They're basically the same thing, you're just one's making it bigger and one making it smaller. So for this one, we have a parentheses, we have an exponent, and we have multiplication, and in a way we have division. So the first thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to distribute the exponent into the parentheses. So this is the same as 3 squared over 4 squared times 8 over 9. And that equals 9 is 3 squared. 4 times 4 is 16 times 8 over 9. And now I get to cancel. I like to cancel. It makes me happy. 9 goes into that 1 time. 9 goes into that 1 time. 8 goes into that 1 time, and 8 goes into that 2 times. So that whole thing up there is the same as saying 1 over 2, or 1/2. Now let's look at 2.4. We are dividing fractions, and remember, if you're dividing a fraction, you want to keep the first one the same. You're going to multiply, and you're going to multiply it by the reciprocal, or flipping that over. So that's the same as 69 over 40. Now, again, I would like to do some canceling before I get going. So let's see, 5, this ends in 5 and this ends in 0, so I know I can divide them both by 5. So that's 5 goes into that 8 times, 5 goes into that 5 times. 69 and 46. Some people think that's prime, but it's not. Sometimes you have to do pull some big numbers out. This is actually 3 times 23, and this is 2 times 23. So I'm going to pull the 23 out and leave behind a 2. So now I'm ready to multiply across. 5 times 3 is 15. 2 times 8 is 16. So my final answer to that is 15/16. For 2.4, number 43, again we have to remember our orders of operations because there's not only exponents and parentheses, but there's addition and subtraction. So first of all, that's going to be the same, and that's going to be the same, but I'm going to distribute my exponents, so 2 squared over 5 squared plus 25 divided by 5 squared over 6 squared. Okay, so now let's take it, we did the parentheses, let's do the exponents. 24 divided by 2 times 2 is 4, 5 times 5 is 25. And remember now, that's all one thing. And why did I put those parentheses there? Well, because I've got a giant plus sign there, and I want to keep it separate. Over on this side, I have 25 divided by 25 over 36. Now, this is really a fraction, 24 over 1. I'm going to, since I'm dividing, I get to switch my operations. I'm going to multiply. I'm going to go by the reciprocal or flip it on its head, so that's 25 over 4, sorry, plus, and over here same thing, 25 over 1 times 36 over 25. So let's do a little canceling here. This is 4 goes into 4 once, 4 goes into 24 6 times. 6 times 25 is 150 over 1 plus, and over here I've got, I can cancel that and that, that's 1 and that's 1. So that would be 1 times 36 is 36, and 1 times 1 is 1, so I have 150 plus 36 equals 186. Finally, we have the last problem, and this is asking you to interpret a word problem. It's translation basically from English into math. Now remember, a quotient is the answer to a division problem. So they're asking for the quotient of 18 3/5 is. So I know that this is equals, and then I'm supposed to take this and divide it by that. And then they're saying is increased by 10, plus 10. So this divided by this plus 10 equals. Okay, so 18 divided by 3/5 plus 10. 18 over 1, I'm going to keep that. I'm going to change that and flip this, plus 10. Let's do some canceling. 3 goes into that once, 3 goes into that 6 times. 6 times 5 is 30 over 1 plus 10 equals 40. And that is the total of the homework solutions for day 5.